Hi and welcome to the Awakening Energy. I am Skeed. In this video, I'm not doing an activation for one very simple reason. We're going to be talking about the course. Now, I've been talking about doing a Kundalini activation course for a while. And I had everything prepared. I've started recording the videos, etc., etc. However, this will just go to show that I'm always studying and always learning. Something never quite sat right with me, calling it Kundalini Activation. And ever since I had the download, I have a video of the actual moment that I received the download. It's in the channel about lightbody activation. Now, lightbody activation and Kundalini activation, the energy is similar. The difference is what we would call Kundalini activation energy is a fourth dimensional process, and a light body activation is a sixth dimensional process. Now, that's quite hard to understand unless you comprehend the difference between sixth dimension and fourth dimension. I'm talking mathematically. I'm not talking, new agey context. I'm literally talking about how the energy moves, the way it moves between 4 dimensions and fifth dimension and sixth dimension. If you're unsure about that, go and look up on YouTube videos of difference between fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimensional movement of shapes or a cube type of thing, to give you an impression of it. But the thing with that never sort of quite sat right with me is calling this Kundalini activation energy. Because does this energy activate your Kundalini? Well, it can. And someone who has awakened their Kundalini can activate and awaken your Kundalini. I've done it for several people. However, the vast majority of people who take a course, a Kundalini activation course, or who have had many, many sessions of Kundalini activation that I have spoken to, and I've spoken to quite a lot, when you speak to them honestly, say, okay, has your Kundalini, your Sushumna, has the Shakti energy risen up the spine? The answer is no. It hasn't. They could have had hundreds of hours of sessions. No, it hasn't. So how can we call this Kundalini activation if it doesn't activate the Kundalini? But if it doesn't activate the Kundalini, what does it do? Well, it activates your energy bodies. It activates your chakras. It activates your dantians. Yeah. Mostly activates your energy bodies and your meridian system. Now you can say, yes, but the Kundalini or the Sushumna is the energy within your meridian system. Okay. Well, that's called prana. Not Kundalini, prana. Thus, and I've said this before in previous videos, most people who do Kundalini activation are actually doing what we could call pranapat, a touch of prana. You could call it Reiki, okay? It's more powerful. If you're initiated into a higher power of this, it's more powerful. But Kundalini activation isn't the only name you can give to this energy. There are many names for it. And there are different examples on Even on YouTube, you can find of people shaking and vibrating. And so why am I changing this to the light body activation this training, rather than just keeping it in the standard Kundalini activation training? Why am I changing the name? Well, part of the download that I received is that by doing it via the light body, it takes away the dangers. It takes away the problems with it. Because it's far more global. It's not coming in from an energy center within your body and exploding it through your system. It's gently connecting to your energy bodies and working inward. Therefore, as long as we are simply doing a bit of shadow work at the same time, there are no dangers with it. It's not going to trigger anything. It's part of the download I received. And to be honest, I never really did anything with it because, it's funny, because this was just a download of information, I had a hard time trusting it. It's not the first information I've received, not the first download I've ever received. I've been receiving it my whole life. But sometimes I've received information and I haven't been able to do anything with it. So it always takes time to process the information. And so all the dangers that can occur with Kundalini activation are eradicated when it comes to light body activation. Now, there are people that claim that Kundalini activation is 100% safe. Well, do your own research. Make up your own decision about that. There are probably enough examples to show you that it's not completely safe, and you have to, I'm not saying don't do it, I'm saying you have to be very careful who you do it with. This other way, it's a lot calmer, it's outside in, it's not building linearly, which are the way people are programmed through education, through obligatory education, is you take a letter, you get a word, you get a sentence, very linearly, very structured. And that's why you start at the root chakra, and then number 2, and then number 3, and then number 4. Very linear, very structured. However, this is the opposite. It's the global finding its way in. And this is actually what the energy of pranapat, the energy of shaktipat, quantum healing energy, actually does when it's safe. If you send energy, it doesn't matter which one you call it, if you just send energy with no intention, it'll work sort of top down. It'll work on the biggest problem and then go to the smaller and the smaller and the smaller. Not in a logical order, but in an order of necessity that is deemed fit by the consciousness. It's not pushing because the facilitator wants to push that way. Big difference. Big difference. And that's what makes it safe. Because it will only affect the person receiving it in the best way for them. So I'm changing the course. It also means that I can simplify the course greatly, because the whole system of chakras, we don't need to go, we'll still cover them, but we don't need to go as deep. We don't need to go as deep into any of it, really. We do have to cover it, but not nearly as profoundly. So does light body activation awaken your Kundalini? It can. Does Kundalini activation awaken your Kundalini? In the most examples I can give you, the answer is actually, unfortunately, no. In my experience, there are very few people. They can be very, very powerful energetically, but very, very few people who have actually awakened their Kundalini through Kundalini activation. Ironical, isn't it? But, well, now I'm not going to say that is for everybody. I'm saying that is in my experience of the people that I've talked to about it. As I said, this is mainly because the people who are doing the activation don't have an awakened Kundalini. If their Kundalini isn't awakened, how can they awaken someone else's Kundalini? I've given Kundalini activation direct energy, and yes, I have activated people's Kundalini. So I know it can be done. But I've awakened my Kundalini. That's the difference. Anyway, changing the name. Lightbody activation. That's why I was given the download. That's why I'm going to do it. You'll also start seeing on my channel, I'll still do Kundalini activation videos for you, but you're going to be seeing more and more and more light body activations because it's a stage above Kundalini awakening. What can I say? It came to me not before I awakened my Kundalini, it came to me after, saying this is the next step. It also came to me saying this is the next step, and this is for us to be able to comprehend the sixth dimension. We cannot comprehend anything higher than the sixth dimension, and even the sixth dimension is quite complicated to comprehend. A lot of people probably can't comprehend it, but that's fine. It's the highest level one can comprehend. I received that information in the download, and then obviously I went and when I received that, I actually went and researched it, and it's true. It's scientists actually say we cannot comprehend more than the sixth dimension. So, awesome. Hence the change. Hence this means I can simplify the course simply because it's not nearly as many dangers, which means we can take out so much of the information. And it's because we're just working with the energy bodies that will eventually fall in. We will discuss Kundalini awakening, because that can happen. It's not going to happen to everybody. And anyone that claims who does Kundalini activation, whichever brand, it will awaken your Kundalini, guaranteed. Well, they won't. They don't and they won't, because it's not. Can it get there? Yeah. So I'm light body. So as news, you'll see the change in the name. I'll be leaving some of the videos I've already made there, because at the end of the day, Kundalini activation and light body activation are very similar things. The problem is the name Kundalini activation doesn't activate the Kundalini. It activates the energy bodies on a fourth dimensional level. So I could just keep the name as Kundalini activation, but unfortunately, people understand Kundalini activation as activating the snake in the Sushumna. And it's not. It's activating the energy bodies, which can eventually get to there, but it's not direct. It's energy that's concentrating in the chakras, in the dantienes, in the grantes. Yes. Namaste.